Oh, I don't think the frequency is in use. This is K4PW, net control for the Mount Juliet Simplex radio net. If there's any emergency or priority traffic, call 911. And if you can't do that, call us and we'll do it for you. Just remember to give us where you live. The net may be broken at any time for emergencies. For information on the net, you can go right now to the our YouTube channel. Just put in my call K4PEW into the search block in YouTube, and it'll bring up a premiere, and you'll be able to click on it. You'll recognize it. It'll say it's a brand new video, a live video. Then you can see how your signal strength matches up with other people's signal strength. Also, you can go to our 146.415.net webpage. It's for Simplex information, and should be, I hope it's of some interest to you. 146.415.net. Also, you can go to our groups page. It's groups.India Oscar, and you can look up MJSS in their search block to find our Mount Juliet Simplex Society. Or you can just send me an email and I'll tell you all that stuff at K4PEW@ARRL.net. Net normally meets at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night. We conduct the net as always, since we're in our 9th year. And net number 866, you can imagine, on 146.415 FM Simplex. Purpose of that is have fun, figure out how good your shack is. Ultimately, that's what it's about. So how good your antenna and your shack are, and have fun doing it. I mean, saving lives and saving the planet from extinction. This is fun. Anyway, we now, as far as announcements go, the big announcement, of course, is tonight's. We have 3 nets, 2 meters here on 146.415, followed by 10 meters on 28.415, followed by 223.415, which is foreign to a lot of you, and that's on 220. It's on the 220 band, so you have to have a 220 radio. And even if you don't have a 50 watt or a 65 watt 220 radio, even if you have a handheld with 220, give it a try on your, if you have a 220 antenna, or you have a 220 handheld and you're within a reasonable distance from one of us, we should be able to hear you. Let's see what else. Nope, that's about it. Does anybody have any other announcements other than, most of the announcements go out on the email system, but if there's anybody got anything to, other announcements, I'm just asking that. Yeah, today is Wednesday, just want to make sure. At any rate, then, we're starting from the west, but we're going to take people short on time and mobile first. Please come in.
Delta 4, Charlie Victor Echo.
Hello, Greg. I take it you're Bradley Parkway.
I am in a good spot, and I'm wet and mobile, so.
Right. You say wet?
Wet.
Oh, yes, exactly. Very good. You're going to be able to get home for the 10 meter?
Yeah, there in front of you.
Very good. That's Greg, Kilo Delta 4, Charlie Victor Echo, Mobile, on the way back down Bradley Parkway from work, headed back toward Antioch. Who else is short on time or mobile? How about mobile or short on time? Or mobile and short on time? Or just short? All right. We're going to jump right in there from the west. Please come in.
Kilo Golf 4, India Lima Victor, Jack and Donaldson.
Hello, Jack. It's not raining over your end of the earth, is it?
Oh man, it is.
Oh really? I just guessed. It looked like it was gonna.
I think it's sprinkling out there.
Yeah, well, this has been a good. I don't know. We've had a lot of rain in the last 4 months or so, haven't we?
Yeah, it'd be a good day for soup if I had any.
I'll bring it over.
Well, thanks for doing the net, Paul. Appreciate it.
Very good. That's Jack, Kilo Golf 4, India Lima Victor. Who else is west? Okay, one more time, please. Not getting anything but noise. So anybody copying that station?
Michael.
KM4YRF?
Yep.
Wow. Chalk him up. I'm going to just, instead of listing him as crappy signal, I am going to list him as he's got a crypto signal, so nobody can understand.
You said your signal's coming and going to him.
Well, that's weird. My signal's going good everywhere else except to him.
You sound good over your Pleasant View, Paul.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's something going on with Michael's antenna, or his where he lives is a black hole for RF signals or something. I don't know. Anyway, good to have you in there, Michael. KM4YRF. Hey, give me a call after the net if you don't mind, or I'll call you, one of the two. Who else is West?
Whiskey 4, India Foxtrot. CD.
Hold on, Mr. OCD. I got the Whiskey 4 India Foxtrot, and okay, I'm gonna stretch my memory here because it's gone. Give me your first name again, please.
Yes, Carl in East Nashville.
Oh, there you go, Carl in East Nashville. I get it one of these days. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm given up on the idea of upgrading my 220 radio, and now I've decided I need to upgrade my antenna. So that's where I am in my quest for better Simplex.
Oh, you still will you will have a 220. I'm sorry, 220 antenna. Is that what you're saying?
No, I was looking last week. I mentioned I was shopping around for a 220 radio, with a little more power than a handheld. And but I don't know. I've been listening to you guys, and I think what I really need to do is save my money and get a better antenna.
Oh yeah, no, antennas are. Oh my God, it makes everything so much better. It really does. Yeah, well, again, in fact, I saw it. They dropped the price on the antenna. I mean, the antenna and the radio I have. It was now 139 versus 159 or something, 155. I forget what it was, but so the price is coming down. I don't know. Maybe it's because we're buying so many.
Yeah, well, I'm saving my money and trying to figure out how to put it up on my 100-year-old house without falling off and breaking my 75-year-old neck. So anyway, I'm working on it. It'll happen.
Oh yeah, well, don't break anything. I'm in the same boat. I'm not quite 75, but I'm 70. How old am I this year? 74 this year, actually. It'll be in a few months, so I'm not too far behind you. Yeah, I decided I'm not going to get up on the roof anymore. While I'm strong as an ox, so to speak, I don't have the stability that I used to have.
Well, thank you, Paul. I really enjoyed the Simplex Net and kind of the challenge of improving signal and all that. It's really been interesting. So I think I'll be with you guys for a while.
Sounds great. Yeah, it's fun. Simplex is a lot more fun. And I was just putting a thing out on the web. In fact, it was on the description of this and that. I don't think there's another. If there is, I'd like to hear from them. We're doing Simplex on 2 meters, 70 centimeters, DMR, D-Star. We've gone insane, really. But it's fun. I don't know anybody else who's doing it.
Yeah, well, it takes someone to kick it off and keep it going, and I think you're that person. So anyway, thanks for all you do.
Oh, very good. All right, Carl, appreciate it. That's Carl in East Nashville, Whiskey 4, India Foxtrot. I heard Mr. OCD out there.
Well, good afternoon, you old timer.
Oh, I know. I'm getting older by the minute. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir. Yeah, you're sounding pretty good. Not a problem. And as far as what the antenna goes, you can have a $5 radio. How's that work? You can have a $5 radio, but if you get you a good antenna, it'll make that radio sound like a $500 radio.
Oh yeah, I got the story's old, but I took my HT with a 1/4 watt, hooked it up to my X700 Diamond, and I was heard, as I recall, about at least 15 miles full copy.
That will work. That will work. But anyway, I just thought I'd chime in, say good evening to everybody on the net. This is Greg over in Pleasant View, KB9 OCD, and everybody have a great evening. Your turn, Paul.
Yeah, very good. Glad to have you in there, Greg. That's Greg in Pleasant View, Kilo Bravo 9, Oscar Charlie Delta. And you have a great signal too, by the way. And hey, we need you on that 220 net. Anyway, who else is West?
W5BSR, Rick in Hermitage.
Hello, Rick. How are you?
Doing great. Waiting to see what the weather develops like everybody else. I don't think it's going to amount to much.
Well, I like it when it doesn't amount to much after we had that tornado come through my neighborhood 2 years ago.
No, that's a fact. nobody needs any of it. We don't need more coal, but I think we got some more coal coming. But all is well here. So thanks again. I'll hang around for the 10 meter.
All right, very good. That was Rick in Hermitage, Whiskey 5, Delta Foxtrot Romeo. Who else is west? Anybody else west? Down to the south. Wow, everybody just went over to the west. No, nobody south.
Down to the west, KO4
KO4. Was it MKD? Mike Kilo Delta?
Yep, meteor steel dinosaurs. Doug, how you doing, Paul?
I'm doing good, Doug. You sound a little scratchy tonight. It seems a lot worse than normal.
Yeah, well, you know,
No, it's just your signal is normally better than this. Did you do anything different?
well, trim my beard, but other than that, now let me turn the power up, see if that helps. How about now, KO4?
Oh, that's much better, Doug. Very much better. That was a little weak. What was that, 10 watts or something?
I think I had it down on the back seat. I'll play around with the repeater to see how low I can still hit it.
Okay. No, you sound good. I mean, it's a little scratchy in there, but you still sound. I can copy everything.
Yeah, almost missed the call. I was playing with a boat anchor, an old vacuum tube voltmeter that I bought yesterday. And it's a disaster. Got on the bench here looking over to see if I even want to try to restore this thing.
Yeah, vacuum tube equipment is great in the winter, isn't it?
Yeah, this thing is one of those kit builds that somebody put together. I don't know how the vacuum tube was. And if you can see it, let's see if it's in the frozen trash. But, you know, I like the challenge.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. My first radio that I ever built, that was actually the only radio I ever built from scratch. Well, from a kit, was one I bought at Lafayette Electric, Buffalo, New York. And it was a little AM radio, just a AM radio receiver. I can still remember what it smelled like when I turned the power.
Did you get some smoke out of it?
No, it just smelled, just that smell of a tube radio and, those components warm. I don't think you ever forget that smell.
Yeah, I've never really built anything quite like this. Not only the simple challenge on this. This is an ICO. It actually came from Brooklyn.
That's when we used to make stuff.
Yep, we did. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a shout out to the event. Like we did too busy. Hello to everyone, and we'll talk to you later.
Very good. That was Doug in Greenbrier, Kilo Oscar 4 Mike. Who else is west or south? Or east?
WA4ZHI.
All right, hold on. Sierra Yankee Victor Larry. We had James in there first. How you doing, James?
Doing fine. Just Dell computer, trying to get the sound work.
Oh boy, Dell. Do you like Dell computers?
Sitting on the shelf all the time. It hadn't been working for a few weeks, a few months maybe.
Oh, I just wondered. I've never owned a Dell computer, and I just wondered how well it worked.
Well, I can get the speaker to work.
Well, I hope you get it fixed, because that's always a pain.
Well, I've been working on it for a few hours. How long I worked before?
Oh boy. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm glad you're retired, because you're not going to make any money working on a computer for 3 hours for nothing.
I tried a speaker, I tried some earphones and all kinds of stuff. I get a little noise. I hadn't got the speaker yet.
Oh, wow. Well, very good. I hope it works out for you. Anything else for the net?
No, that's all.
All right, very good. That's James. He's right here in Mount Juliet, Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel, India. Larry, how are you doing?
We're doing good, man. Sounds like you ain't getting a very good crowd tonight.
Oh, that's all right. It's we take them as we get them, We're not trying to break down any trade barriers,
Oh, I know the feeling. We'll let you get on with it. KE4FYB.
Very good. That was Larry, Kilo Echo 4 south or east.
It's 10-4-10. Yeah, for SOR. Good evening, Paul.
Hold on. Hold on one second. SIB, SOR. KF4, KFQ, Tony. How's your day go tonight, Tony? Today, Tony?
I'm a blah day. Just kind of sit around the house all day, loving my dog and petting my wife or something like that. I get those confused.
Just remember, the food for the dog is not in the same cupboard, I hope.
I don't know. Have you seen some of that stuff? I mean, it looks good enough to eat. It looks like K-Rash.
You're saying that K rations are good enough to eat. They are edible, yes.
Anyway, no, just checking in. That's all I got.
All righty, that was Tony. He's in Smyrna. KF4, KFQ. Richard, in there. How you doing, Richard?
Doing well. And I'm gonna try to get that meter and all that kind of thing. How to do it. So we'll give it a try and see what happens. Thank you for what you do, yeah, for us, I'll be shutting up.
Hey, where are you, Richard? Your signal's fading in and out.
I don't know. I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting here in the house.
Huh? No, it was going in. It was just kind of a slow fade in and a slow fade back out. Up and down. Anyway, I got you in there though. I could copy it all. That was Richard, Kilo Bravo, Sierra India Bravo, and Kilo India 4 Sierra Oscar Romeo, his bride Stephanie. Who else is
KM4HQE.
KM4HQE? Stan, you doing okay over there?
Oh, doing well, Paul. How about yourself?
Good. It's been a nice day. I'm still realized I'm still in a recovery mode from both the COVID and the surgery because I just don't have the staying power throughout the day, you know.
Yeah, well, I hope you get well soon, Paul.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine. It's just that it takes a little longer for people to recover, I guess, as they get older. Hey, anything else for the Nets, Dan?
No, that's all, Paul. Back to net. KM4HQE.
Very good. That was Stan. He's just a little bit. That's Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Quebec Echo. Who else is east? Hello, Earl. Where you been?
I've been doing that grizzly bear thing.
What, you're breaking into houses and stealing food?
Grabbing in a hole and curled up, staying warm and cozy.
Oh yeah. Well, today was a nice day. Degrees or something like that. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Seen a few motorcycles go up down the road out here. I've seen a few over the weekend too. So good day for at least yeah, that's what I do. So I stay in the house. Do what I need to do in here.
All right. Anything else for the?
No, everything's hunky dory out here in big Cedar City. Northern, I guess. Everybody's doing well out there and being safe. That's it.
Yeah, very good. That's Earl, Kilo Delta Echo Zulu in the metropolis of Noreen, which is just east, kind of southeast of Cedars 11 and Park. Who else?
Whiskey 8, Papa, Lima, Alpha, Philip in Lebanon.
Hey, Phil. It's interesting how you can hear Steve much better than I can hear him up there in north of Bowling Green.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot in my way as far as city and whatnot. I've just got an open lot here, and the trees are far away, so I don't know if that's got anything to do with it or not.
I think it's, in my case, it's Hendersonville's blocking me.
I'll copy that.
Everything going okay for you?
Yeah, going pretty good, and I just want to throw out there, if anybody's interested, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, several of us are going to meet at Uncle Pete's truck stop there in Lebanon and have breakfast.
It's Uncle Pete's. I don't know that one. Which one is that in Lebanon?
It's the one and only Uncle Pete's truck stop in Lebanon. If anything about Lebanon, you know where it's at. It's right off the Watertown exit there, they call it.
Okay, in other words, just south of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, very good. I know what you're talking about. I just didn't know the name of it. Oh, very good. Uncle Pete's, if anybody couldn't hear Philip, and that was a
Tomorrow morning.
tomorrow morning. See, tomorrow is Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Uncle Pete's. Yeah, that'd be cool if I can make it. Unless Richard's going to be there, and then I don't want to be
Well, you're SOL.
there. Well, very good. Anything else for the net?
Oh, that's it. Thanks for what you do. 7-3, everybody. WACLA, back to that.
Yeah, that's Philip, Whiskey 8, Papa, Lima, Alpha, and Tucker's Crossroads. That's where he is. Who else is east? North.
Kilo Delta 4, Golf Oscar November.
Hello. Good going on. You're not in Hendersonville. You're up towards Cottontown. How's it going?
Oh, it's fine. I ain't been home long, but see you on, and then there you were.
Well, that's right. Seems like I think some people think I'm always here.
Yeah. It's funny that you can't hear Michael. You're about 20 over, and he is full scale.
I have no idea. I gotta tell you, that's weird.
I know it.
I must have somebody snuck a Michael KM4YRF filter in my antenna. Keep them out.
There you go.
That's weird though. It really is odd that you're up there close to. How far would you say? How close are you to Cottontown?
4 or 5 miles. I'm 30 miles from downtown.
30 miles from downtown. Gallatin?
Nashville.
Oh, well, you're good. You're about equidistant. I love that term. Equidistant between me and as you are to Michael, because Michael is just maybe a little farther south than I am, because he's south of the interstate.
Right.
That's weird. I don't know. I guess we need to do a better test or something. That just doesn't make sense to me at all. Because he normally on that antenna and that radio he has, I hear him perfectly. Today it was just awful. If you hear it on the web, I can't hear anything except for static. Anyway, anything else, Danny?
No, that's it.
It's Kilo Golf. I'm sorry, Kilo Delta 4 Golf Oscar no. And Michael stinks. Who else is east or north?
WD0 Illinois.
Hey, Mark, we ought to use you as the standard of excellence in audio tonight.
Well, that'd be nice. Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird that you couldn't hear Mike as well. He's strong over here at the house, and I'm kind of in, at the hole, almost at lake level.
I think he actually picked a location that would be the worst possible location.
You've got, 2 coming in 180 degrees out.
Doesn't make any sense at all. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna have to try I'll have to switch over to try them again at another time on the other antenna that I have right here. The other tri-band. The one that's got 2 meter, 220, and 70 centimeters. See if it's something different. It just makes no sense that I can't hear.
Yeah, I agree with you. But that would be a good test. If it's cancellation of some kind, then you shouldn't have it on both antennas. But anyway, you sound good to me, same as always. So does Danny, and so does most everybody, except Earl. I don't ever hear Earl. But anyway, have a good evening.
Well, were you listening when we were on 70 centimeters the other day with Michael?
I don't think so.
Oh, you would have remembered, because I said, let's go to 70 centimeters, and 2 or 3 of us went over there at 70 centimeters. And I had him perfectly full quieting at 70 centimeters from the same antenna, same location, same radio.
Yep, well, that probably should tell you something.
Yeah, what? I just can't hear him on 2 meters, but I can on 70 centimeters.
I've seen reflections, where signals bounce off or something and get to your antenna at just the wrong time. And moving it a few feet will make a difference, or the other antenna. Interesting trial for me.
Yeah, we'll give it a try. But again, 70 centimeters was just beautiful. It was just like I'm talking. Good audio. Everything was great. Anyway, that was That was Mark, and he's in Northwest Wilson, Whiskey Bravo Zero, November, Oscar. And who else is north?
Kilo Echo 4, Romeo Victor, Quebec, Brent, Mount Juliet.
Hey, Brent. You were in Mount Juliet.
Yeah, I'm just this side of it.
I think you're outside the city limits, as I remember.
As soon as you turn on the road and go down the hill, you're out of the city.
I'm guessing, I never thought about this, but out in the county, your tax city.
Yeah.
And of course, the cities are raising their taxes this year, I think.
They can raise them all they want.
Yeah, but you know what? Eventually, it's going to hit you. Just look what happened to Davidson.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, it's inevitable. An area grows, but again, if the area is growing, they get more taxes anyway. So I'm not sure what the complaint is.
Well, actually, the infrastructure has grown quite a bit in Wilson County over the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, but again, there's got to be. When I got here, it was about 20 something, 40,000 something people, and so I'm saying there's 20,000 more people, which equates to about, I don't know, 5 to 10 a lot of money in property taxes.
Yeah, but you got a lot. You got a lot that moves in here and they use the service.
I guess I don't know. I understand it all. I mean, I went through this when I lived in Florida, but the taxes there were, and they never increased. They just increased incrementally a little bit over time. I don't know why it was so different, but it was just tax structure. Well, it's pretty stable here. Don't get me wrong. I mean, our taxes only went up a little bit.
Yeah, I've been here 20 something years. It's pretty stable.
Well, yeah, I think you may have heard me on the air. My brother has a house that's similar size. His property is actually half the size of my property. He's probably got about a third of an acre. I've got about 2/3. His house is about the same square footage. His houses are closer together, so it's not a nicer neighborhood. He's paying $7,500 a year, and I'm paying $1,500 or less.
Yeah, well, like I said, cousins are doing up north, and I'm very thankful I live where I live.
Oh no, New York it's a nightmare. I was looking at an old friend of mine, old acquaintance of mine in the town of Auburn, New York. If you want to look it up, it's right on the tip of one of the Finger Lakes there in Central area. Just beautiful. But I happen to notice, number one, houses are cheap, and taxes they're not terrible yet. New York taxes, but a lot of houses for sale because I think people are fleeing that place.
Oh, they're fleeing it, but they work there anymore.
Oh yeah, no kidding. I mean, those people were within reasonable driving from Rochester and Syracuse, and both had a manufacturing in Syracuse gone. Kodak is now 1/10 of what it used to be in Rochester.
I remember when Kodak was long.
Oh, it was a monster. That was them and the other guys, the big copier people were up there too. I can't remember the name of it at the moment. Xerox was up there. That was their headquarters, was in Rochester.
Sure was. Yeah, they went. I still think they're pretty high tech as far as their industries are, and the Coastal College is all based on technology up there. But yeah, Rochester became very expensive.
Yeah, well, it's a nice town, really, but they've had their share of problems. If you've copied, seen anything, they're turning into a kind of a mess, kind of like Buffalo.
Yeah, I lived in Chili for a while, and Monroe County, it has never grown much, and they really haven't brought any industry in there.
No, because New York, they can lose industry real fast. They just can't get it back.
What's the truth? That's the total truth.
I mean, like I said, this town, I've said it 100 times, but the city I grew up in, when I left it, it had around 110,000 in 1968, 69, and now it's got about 40,000 if you count the dogs.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, it was never much of a town to begin with. Really, Monroe County and Wayne County in that area, it was all agriculture, and I really don't know what they're doing now.
The agri there is. I just don't know how everybody's going to hold up over time because New York's not getting any better because they're just a bunch of well tech politicians, whether they like it or not.
Are you saying they make any other kind?
Well, in New York they make a special.
Yes, they are unique.
Anyway, anything else for the net, Brett?
Oh, that's just beautiful. And if you want to show up at Uncle,
Oh yeah, that'd be great. That was Brent, Kilo Echo for Romeo Victor Quebec, and he is in Northwest Wilson. He likes to say he's in Mount Juliet. So who else is north?
KB9RKK.
Very good. There's somebody who I think lives in Mount Juliet, don't you?
Barely.
Don't worry, they'll annex Brent, and he won't be.
He said, I go out of my subdivision and go down a little bit, and I'm out of Mount Juliet again.
Well, what's kind of freaky, I looked, it's somebody was a ham, happened to be a ham, but he was also, he's in the city council. He's the mayor here in Mount Juliet. And he lives, it wasn't him, it was somebody else. He actually lives in Davidson County, on the other side of the line, but he still has a Mount Juliet address.
True. There's weird stuff like that, and there's some houses are in both counties at the same.
Yeah, I don't want to have to figure that out. We had I just thought it was interesting in Pinellas County, Florida, very popular, where Clearwater and St. Pete and Largo, and there was actually there's a city in that county. Now try to imagine I believe it was 27 separate municipalities, 27 in one county, and the county is no bigger than, I mean, actual cities. They all each have their own city council, each have their own mayors, they each have their own police forces. Sometimes they use the sheriff department. In one of them, and some of them there's one, like if you ever look up Pinellas Park is the name of it, Pinellas Park, Florida. It's actually like a square. It's right in the midst of Pinellas County. It's like stands alone. It's like a postage stamp for the county. And even there in that square, there's parts of it that aren't in the city. It's right dead in the city of Pinellas Park.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it because I've driven through that area. It's not too far. My parents used to live. But what you're describing is like Cook County, or I should call it Crook County, Illinois.
Oh, is that right? There's that many municipalities in that? That's all of those right on the lake, right?
Oh, no, teaching. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's all the way, from the south shore all the way to the far west suburbs, and then there's one town in particular that's known as the Lamb Grabbers and Hoffman Estates, and it looks like somebody took a shotgun and shot it, and that's Hoffman Estates.
What I meant was the county, Cook County, is all of it borders the lake on the east side.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. It goes all the way out. It goes all the way far north to Northbrook, and all the way down to like Chicago Heights, and then on the south side, it doesn't go quite as far east as it does on the north side, but it's still a huge county and a huge problem. I call it Cook County.
Well, the last time I was up there, I was impressed. Not just because it's Chicago. Chicago's a neat town. I mean, if you don't have to live there. We drove north, and I don't remember why we did, because we were there. Me and my one son were there to visit my Great Lakes. But we decided we'd drive north for some reason out of Chicago. Some of those towns north of Chicago are outrageously nice, also outrageously expensive, right on the lake.
Yeah. It's what it's known for. You start going north on the lake, it's around the Lake Tor, And when you start going there, Dance with and those areas, and Highland Park is where it starts, and then it keeps going, and it's where they filmed a lot of the movies, like Home Alone and Dennis the Menace, and some of those. In fact, I was driving around in those neighborhoods, and I accidentally got my car in the movie. You could see me driving by.
Oh, is that right? That's funny. No, it was just very nice areas up there. It really is pretty. It's just unfortunate that, like I'm sure Cook County's taxes and Illinois' taxes are just horrible.
Yeah, they're insane, and they're basically, I don't know what they are now, but back 15 years ago, 20 years ago, they were already some places were already close to $7,000, and I'm sitting there going, $7,000 a year, and they're spray painting graffiti across the front of your house. That's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I happen to notice in today's news that Lori Lightfoot is not even in the coming election.
I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not even. She looks like she flunked out of electrician school.
Yeah, stuck her finger in the socket. Yep. Yeah, no, what's the big news up there? Depending. I mean, it doesn't matter what side on it, it's wrong. But the governor over there, they just passed some crazy laws, and they've got, like, I don't know, I think it's up to, I forgot exactly how many sheriffs already signed to force it.
Oh, wow. Well, that same thing happened in New York with the gun laws, because the New York State passed a gun law that said, okay, we have to allow to get permits, which you have to must. Now it became a must issue, but they had to track all of the permit holders or the potential permit holders' social media platforms to make sure they weren't wackos. And the sheriff said, "We're not doing that."
Yeah, no, they did something a little bit strange. They basically now said that since there is no definition for an assault rifle, they basically made anything with, like, if you have a typical regular 9mm that holds 17 rounds, nope, can't have that unless you register it, because that's more than 12. And if you have any rifle that has anything that remotely looks like an adjustable stock or heat shield or this, it's an assault weapon, and it's not banned, you just have to register it. And so basically all the sheriffs are like, yeah, we're not doing this. There's no way, and since we hold the jail, we're also not going to lock anybody up that you may think you're sentenced to go to jail. So there's going to be a big political fight.
Well, good. I'm glad it'll end up in the courts, I'm sure. Again, I know New York did the same thing. They passed a 10-round magazine limit, and forgetting that all of the police forces in New York State had larger than 10-round magazines.
Yes, and by the way, the law also applies to the police. They made that very clear, and that's another reason to push it back.
Oh, just silly. Just, how did we get this? By the way, I caught wind. I'll have to look this up. I don't know. Tell me if anybody in the net heard this. I heard it yesterday, I think. I don't know where. It said that the feds, there was people in Congress who were going to propose a congressional law that made 100% reciprocity for all states on handguns.
I have not heard that. The only thing I've heard on the handguns is the ATF now, after saying something is legal, just said they're not legal, and it's not really a law, but you're still getting those add-on the little plastic stocks that kind of make a pistol into like a carbine, so you could consider that a short barrel rifle now, and you have to get a permit for it. So it's getting crazy. I was lurking the other day when you guys. I could tell you, I hear Michael great on 2 meters. On 440, I heard him, but not as good. So there's something going on. I think Mark's right.
Find out. I hope we can find out. I'll try to move an antenna around or something. We'll figure it out. No, I was going to say it's funny because if you travel right now, I can through Georgia and go into Florida, never have to worry about a handgun in the car. But if I drove from here to go up to, say, Massachusetts, I get in a lock and go through New Jersey, have to keep it in a lock container as it goes through New York. You have to go through Connecticut, you got to lock it there. I think Massachusetts is the same thing. And when you get to New Hampshire, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even like more not crazy, but even more paranoid than you are. I used to Chicago, Illinois state line over, and I used to take the darn thing apart and put it in 5 different bags.
Yeah, that's have it in a lock container, like a gun safe in your trunk, and I don't think anybody complains about that.
Right, but I don't know, they don't take our permits, so yeah. So because it's a handgun, like Cook County, you literally cannot have it. Period. And have it in your house.
Really? Because I know that New York you can't.
Yeah, like in Chicago, the Cook County does, but Chicago, I think they might have lost the lawsuit or something, but you couldn't even own it unless you officer had some kind of permit, but and over there you can't even buy ammunition without a permit. You got to have a FOID card. But it's every place a little bit different, and that's fine. But I hate when they try to make criminals out of somebody overnight for no reason, and it doesn't serve any purpose. The criminals don't follow the laws anyway.
No, but I guess what I'm confused about that though is, and I hate to drag this on, Illinois and Chicago in particular avoid that Supreme Court ruling about shall issue.
They issue a permit, but that's what I'm saying. You have to have a permit to carry it, like that. So, they do have it, but I'm talking about permitless, like you couldn't just carry. Now there is some permitless carry, but before you couldn't just carry it. You couldn't carry it anywhere. You can take it in your car, locked up, and you can take it to the range and that kind of stuff, but you couldn't like carry it and walk around on your person, like, for the intent of carrying it. In Illinois, it's really strict with that. That they don't take anybody else's, period. Flat out, do not take anybody else's permit, and they don't give out visitors permits. So you're going to carry that.
Does it seem odd to anyone that all of the problems with handguns are in the gang, with citizens who are normal?
Right, and they're of them are trying to say, look, if you don't have them for them to steal, then there's nothing for them to steal, and they won't have them either. Problem is, what do you do? The time being, and you're taking away. I don't know. I'm obviously a fan. I have them, but I'm not going to say that that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm not like a nut about it, but at the same time, I don't like anything that's done under what I call shady circumstances, or done so sloppy that it's hard to interpret. And I mean, do you really? I forgot what it is. It's like 90 pages, and you have to get to the 20th page to figure out what they're trying to say.
Oh yeah, no, I know that's how those the legal. That's why they have to have lawyers to make up these rules. They're the only ones who understand them. Anyway, anything else from that there, Frank?
No. Well, I'm good. Thanks for doing that. We're waiting for this weather that's supposedly going to be coming. So there's a slight chance, but we're supposed to have wind. I'm finally starting to hear it.
Oh yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I stepped out earlier, but it's just a little breezier than it was. Anyway, that was Frank, and he's here in the northwest Mount Juliet, Kilo Bravo 9, Romeo Kilo Kilo. Who else is north or anywhere?
K4 TXC, Chris in Royal Hill.
Very good, Chris. Tell me you were copying Michael.
Yeah, I've got him at a S7.
I think you guys are messing with him.
No, I'm serious.
It's a conspiracy. Everything going okay there?
Yeah, doing pretty good. And Richard was pretty solid, I think, at about an S4 from what I remember. But yeah.
Oh yeah, doing fine. I'm just getting older by the minute. I was goofing around yesterday evening with my, you know that whatever that crime show is. I forget what it's called. Um, it's where that's got that white-haired guy who does the interviewing, and he's down. You know, you got to get him a deep voice. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't watch too much prime time.
No, it's Keith something. I forget his name. But anyway, she says you've got that down pat because he talks and he goes, well, that's interesting. You know, he just has this weird voice, and I'm getting that weird old voice because I'm getting older.
Well, hey, it happens to the best of us, right?
Well, if you reach this age, it's all the good better. I'm glad I made it this far so far. So anyway,
No, that's all I've got. 73. Oh yeah, about that short barrel rifle stuff. Yeah, I guess we'll have to just get our stuff. You know, there's going to be a grace period, and if anyone has that, you know, try to get it before they make you pay for it.
they're really,
Yeah, I think it's going to be. It's just, you know, nationwide essentially. The braces have to be registered because, you know, a short barrel rifle, there's no longer a pistol.
I don't know. I find that offensive.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. Hey, at least we still get to keep our handguns.
Well, it's just so what you're saying. You know what they're really saying. A brace. I'll just call it that, and have it sitting around the house, and it's legal. All I gotta do is hook it up when I want to, and then it's illegal.
Yeah, if you put it on something that is shorter than 16 inches in length, then it is no longer a rifle. Yeah, and something that helps you shoulder a pistol caliber, or sorry, pistol length weapon, or a carbine length weapon. Well, but it doesn't have to be rifle caliber. You could have a 9mm in that configuration, and it applies to that as well.
Yeah, but what's that, Chris? It's goofy because the vast majority of the people who have either like an AR-15 or something like that, some variation on that weapon that has a stock and it's considered a long rifle, or the leftists are calling an assault weapon, and to have these. How many people have you seen walking around Mount Juliet, Rural Hill, Nashville with those weapons ever? Walking around with them.
Never. Yeah, they're just going after something that, you know, that needs to. I guess they feel like they can regulate that, and that'll take. You know, I guess that's the whole idea of it. But yeah, it's not something you would ever see because someone will call the cops.
Unless you had, like some of those knuckleheads, they'll wear a trench coat and they can put it underneath their arm like a Secret Service agent. Extreme rarity somebody walking around with that kind of a weapon. But the fact of the matter is, it's really no different than a handgun. How does it make it different, really? Another just for stability reasons. And that's the only thing that's different.
Yeah, well, I guess the speed, the velocity of the projectile, and they cite in the document. I read a little bit of it. It's pretty lengthy. They cite some of the things and some of the reasons, the actions that in society that caused them to write this document. But you know, if it is made a law, it is what it is, and we just have to do what we got to do.
Yeah, but I still find that dumb because it's picking. It's nitpicking your way into complete registration.
It really is.
It just doesn't make sense to me because it's going to do zero good other than.
Well, yeah, and to know, I mean, that really goes. You have to dig into how many years things go back for a long time. So you have vintage weapons, so it's just it turns into a, hopefully it doesn't go there, right?
It seems like it's absurd. All of this stuff is all for nothing. It doesn't accomplish. It doesn't reduce crime at all. It doesn't do anything. All it does is cause bureaucracies and get people feeling even more paranoid about weapons.
I have feelings that are similar to.
I mean, it does nothing. It doesn't accomplish anything unless they can round up all the criminals and give them a diversity training and then weapons training and get.
Yeah, it's impossible.
That's what I'm saying. It's just silly. Anyway, very. I go crazy here.
No, I'm good, Paul.
Very good. That's Chris, Rural Hill, which is for those of you that are uninformed, south of Mount Juliet, about 5 miles. Who else is south, east, north, or west?
Kilo 3, Mike Papa Romeo.
Ah, Dennison of Mount Juliet. How you doing there, Mike?
Doing good. I just looked that up. Account Bill 30, January of 21. They still haven't voted on it. It's the national reference to this map. Yeah, it is looking at that with all these crazy mass shootings going on.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're planning any mass shootings, but I don't know anybody who even considers that unless you're absolutely insane, just nutso beyond belief. Because even the nutsos, they'll find a weapon. Trust me.
Just like that guy
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's sad that there are people like that, but and I'll go on a little bit of politics here, but I don't mean to. When people, and they've said it before, that somehow they say, "Oh, you weapons are going to defend yourself against our military with F-16s and F-35s," and you go, "Yeah, but that's not why I'm buying a weapon." To defend myself from somebody with an F-16. I'm trying to defend myself against would-be people who are going to do me harm.
read that the House passed that bill for the national representative, and like all the Senate to vote on it. But we know who is now in control of the Senate. I don't think the odds are going to be all that great.
No, well, we'll see. I mean, I hope it doesn't go away. It does seem to me that you need national reciprocity, just because it's such a pain if you're traveling. I don't know what most people do when they're traveling, other than just lock up their weapons or don't take them at all.
I put mine on my Senate council, which
Oh, okay, well that's that. Obviously, you can do that, and I still think you got to notify if you get pulled over.
yeah, well, I'm kind of hesitant to do that. Some of those guys get a little crazy.
I think you're absolutely right. Anyway, anything else other than that, Mike? You sound great.
No, it's not much. I've been took the RG8X off the headset and switched over to Hyperflex 10, and I think there's more power going to the antenna. I just got to figure out the ability for using this rig expert. I don't understand everything you're trying to tell me.
Well, yeah, there is going to be less loss in both directions with that Hyperflex.
Yeah, I lucked out and talked to a guy. I think it was on 15 meters or 17, one of the two, Germany, and it's crystal clear. So I think I think it's definitely doing better. It's just kind of like say trying to figure out everything that big experts trying to tell me with the SWRs and and everything else. And, but until I get someone to discuss that with and show me what I'm doing, and I know all the SWRs are low, so I'm good in that respect.
Oh yeah, no, that's nice. That rig expert's not a little inexpensive device either.
I mean, I'm amazed at the readings it gives you. That when you plug it into a computer, it kind of blows you away too.
you need you need an associate's degree to read it. Huh?
He's in a master's for a 12-year-old that knows what they're doing. No, I'll just wait for you guys to come up on HF.
Very good. That was Mike, Kilo 3, Mike Papa Romeo here in Mount Juliet. Else, any place, anywhere? Any copy on that station? Because all I got was noise. Anybody? Let's try it again. Burn it up. Anybody copy that?
N88 HNT.
Go, right there.
Oh, it is. I did. Yeah, I'm not copying you, Hayes, but I can hear number 8 November Hotel Tango. Hayes, and he's in Hendersonville. Hayes, I don't know what's going on. I normally can hear you. Are you on a handheld?
Hey, you're only about a S2 up here at my house.
I'm not copying any of that.
He said thanks for checking him in, and he's gonna take a look at what's got going on there.
Good. Yeah, there's something going on because normally I can hear him just fine. Anyway, that was Hayes, November 8th, November Hotel Tango in Hendersonville. Who else is?
I was gonna give a comment.
Hey, go ahead.
Okay, so what I was gonna say before I get, I was looking something up, and yeah, I was way off. There is a county in the United States, only behind Los Angeles County. There are 800 local government municipalities wholly located within Cook County.
What could go wrong there?
I don't know. I call it Crook County. They have more crooks per square mile.
I was reading an article some months ago, maybe years, and they were talking about the issues with Cook County because it's such old school politics. Anybody who's running for a has to go Democratic old fogies. They won't even get on the ticket if they're not approved by the Democrat. See, I'm not knocking a Dem party. I'm just saying that's obviously a Democrat city. But nobody goes anywhere without getting from that party, the powers that be, before doing anything they do. They won't even get able to vote.
Yeah, yes, sir. That's what they call it. They called it the Windy City because of the politicians won't stop talking. Anyway, and the other thing I was going to tell you is when you were talking to Chris is like there's different parts of that bill. Barrel rifle part for the actual short barrel rifles that always did need a permit for it because basically a rifle, just a short one, which makes it easier to conceal, but it still is long enough to where it has higher velocity. What we're talking about here is you can take a compact 9mm handgun. That stock does not change a darn thing about it other than more accurate. Gee, I guess they want you to hit people by accident, I guess. I don't know. So, and what the problem with it is, those that are not into guns, that are just buying it, like women, or say my wife, this will be easier for her to handle in case somebody, spend money on a carbine, which is heavier, more money, which is definitely still a rifle and actually will harder to conceal. So it's a little bit goofy, and I think it is a way to get stuff registered. That's exactly what it is. So anyway, however you feel about it, that's what I want to say. KV on RKK.
That's what I was getting at, though. Is it I could get a stock and put it on one of my 9mm or my 45. It doesn't change the velocity of the weapon whatsoever. It just changes the stability.
Oh, I was going to correct you on a comment. No, you cannot have the stock laying around. You must destroy it, break it, register it, or something like, or get rid of the whole weapon and turn it into the ATF. That's your choices.
That's pretty wacky, Frank. K4 PW. That's just wacky. I don't know where I can see where they're headed here, but it's making it. It's all they're doing is making it tough for legal citizens to do what they need to do, what they want to do.
Right, and put a red dot on it or anything that requires eye relief, like a rifle. It's also illegal, not allowed, or has to be registered. So, on RKK.
Somebody was keying up there. Who was it? That might have been an accident. Somebody had just keyed up by the tone. All right, here it is, 9 o'clock already. But anyway, we had 25, 23 check-ins as I can count them here, which is a little lower than normal. But again, we're not trying to I'm sure there's probably, I don't know how many people listen, but other people take advantage. I say take advantage. They're not taking advantage of us, taking advantage of the net and see who they can hear and who they can't hear. And they can even look at it on YouTube and see what's going on. Anyway, is there any more check-ins before we move on? This is Kilo 4, Pop Echo Whiskey with the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net here. For check-ins from the west, please come now.
KM4YRF.
Hey, you sound great here on.
Man, I know. I sent you a video of what I was seeing and hearing, so you can check that out after the net.
Very good. That was Michael, KM4YRF. Who else is west?
Whiskey 5 Delta.
All right, I got you in there. That's Whiskey 5 Delta Foxtrot Romeo, and that is Rick, and he's in Hermitage. 5 Delta Foxtrot Romeo. Great signal, by the way. I think I heard Richard. Did I hear you in there, Richard? Richard, okay, a little bit low audio, but low signal, but I can hear you. I'm glad I'm wearing my headphones. KI4SIB and Richard, downtown Lebanon. Who else is west?
Kilo Golf 4, India Lima Victor, Jack and Donaldson.
Sound good, but I heard Richard jumped in there in the midst of that. Kilo Golf 4, India Lima Victor, and that's Jack and Donaldson. Sounds good. And who else is west? Very good. That was Greg and Antioch. Kilo Delta 4, Charlie, Victor Echo. Who else is west? Am I hearing anything or somebody else hearing anything?
I'm hearing nothing.
All right, down to the south.
Kilo 3, Mike Papa Romeo.
All right, Kilo 3, Mike Papa Romeo. Michael sounds all of 2 miles maybe from me. Maybe. Anyway, Mike, Kilo 3, Mike Papa Romeo, and he's here in Mount Juliet. Who else is wherever I was? South, please go now.
Kilo 4, Mike Tango Oscar.
Kilo 4, Mike Tango Oscar. My gosh, I forgot who that is. Help me.
This is Mike out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Over.
Oh, very good, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing well. Finally got back on the air here and just trying to video out and see how well I'm transmitting. Over.
Well, you're doing great. You're that far from me. Well, you're an Old Hickory or not?
Roger, I am actually northwest Mount Juliet. Pay Mount Juliet city taxes, but Old Hickory address. Over.
Okay, I think we've talked about that before. Right, I got you. I know where you are now. But yeah, your signal's awesome on 10 meters.
Roger, great to hear. Over.
Yeah, very good. That's Michael K4 Mike Tango Oscar. He's in I'll call it Old Mount Juliet, Old Hickory and Mount Juliet. They're on the northwest corner. Who else is wherever I was, west or south? I'm hearing somebody way back in the background. I can't hear it. All right, over to the east. I'm hearing Stan in there, a little low on the signal, but I got you in there. KM4HQE, that's Stan and Lebanon. Who else is west? I mean east. KE4DZ, that's Earl in Lebanon. He not in Lebanon. He's down in. That's an insult. He lives in Noreen, the capital of Wilson County. Good to hear you in there, Earl. That was Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu. Who else is east? West, south, east, or east? Please come in. Very good. 4G04G. I got that. I'm hearing that wrong on your call. It's Kilo Delta 4, correct?
Kilo Delta 4 Golf Oscar November.
Yeah, no, I just, for some reason, when you said it, it didn't ring that it was Oscar in there. I mean, Delta. busted ears here. Anyway, that was you had a good signal, by the way. In spite of what I just said, I could hear you just fine. That's Kilo Delta 4 Golf, and that's Danny in somewhere close to 30 miles north of Nashville, near Cottontown. Who else is any place anywhere?
WD0 Winnow.
Hey, how are you copying everybody tonight there on this band, Mark?
Pretty well. I even heard her.
Oh, do you normally hear Earl on 10 meters?
You know, I don't remember on 10, but I rarely hear him on 2.
Yeah, in fact, he has improved. Maybe not to you, but when he first got on this net some years ago, yeah, it was so hard to hear him. But things have improved because he really is in a bad spot that would due to that ridge that runs up and down like where 109 is or wherever it is. Oh yeah, that's right. The voice of distinction.
Roger.
Very good. That's Mark. Whiskey Bravo 0, November Oscar in Northwest Wilson. Who else is out there?
Kilo Bravo 9, Romeo Kilo Kilo.
Very good, Frank. You sound good, of course. I'm sure you're copying everybody.
Yeah, for the first time I heard every single station.
Oh, wow. It's a good night. I think it's really a good night for. I don't wonder if Hayes is in there. Is anybody else north, south, east, or west? I know I heard somebody in there, but try again, please, because I didn't hear it completely. I thought I heard Oscar something Oscar. Did I get that right? I'm sorry. One more. What did you say it was, Greg? Oh, very good. Kilo Oscar for Alpha Delta Oscar. Yeah, that your signal is very low, and I wasn't able to copy it well. I'm trying to remember where you are. Of course, I can look it up. But really low signal. I'm not sure it's an antenna issue or a terrain issue or what. It is Kilo Oscar 4 Alpha Delta Oscar. Is that correct? Very good, because KO4ADO is in Georgia, so that would have been a stretch. KQ4ADO. Let me look that up because I'm having a real tough time hearing him there, hearing him here. Hold on, AD. Okay, Brentwood. Okay, very good. I don't know why, John, you're such a bad signal over there. I forgot who that was. Got my brain all messed up. Yeah, John, I'm not sure why your signal's so bad to me today, but I can barely hear anything you're saying. I'm not sure if he's replying, but I can't hear him. All right, very good. Any place, anywhere, anybody else, please come now. All righty. Now, you have anybody hearing anything I'm not hearing? All right, very good. We had 14 check-ins here on 10 meters, and it was actually a pretty good night, aside from a couple of fairly weak signals. But I mean, really good signals tonight. We're going to go over to 223.415 here in a second, but one more chance. All righty, that was it. K4PW closing out the net. And appreciate everybody who's out there, and have a great night. 73. And that closes out this portion of the net. Thanks very much.